Few people love the monarchy quite as much as one woman in Durham, who might just be the Queen's #1 fan.
I'm Anita Atkinson. I live in the northeast in County Durham, and I'm mainly known as being a fanatical monarchist.
Anita once held the record for the largest collection of royal memorabilia in the world, and reckons she'll be reclaiming that title pretty soon. You might remember that I once interviewed Graham Smith, the CEO of Republic, who's pushing for Britain to abolish the monarchy.
Yeah. No, our constitution is completely ridiculous. That's one of the things laws. I said that the patriotic thing, if you can care about your country and the people who live in it, is to get rid of the monarchy.
I learned a lot in that Zoom call, but I wanted to speak to someone on the other side of the aisle. Someone who really values the monarchy and what it stands for. We'd been on the road for almost 2 months, and after 1,700 kilometres, we crossed the Yorkshire Dales and reached northern England. I went off to meet Anita in Durham, just south of Newcastle, where she picked me up in, well, this.
I forget I'm in it when I don't know how, because it's like
So on 4 wheels instead of the usual 2, she drove me to her family home to give me a glimpse into the world of a dedicated monarchist.
It's Elizabeth I. Isn't that brilliant? So I thought, right, I have to have that, and all I need now is a mannequin, you see.
Almost everywhere you go in Anita's home, the Queen is watching you.
So, yes, and that's another china cabinet and things on the top.
You say it was your mum that started collecting this stuff?
Yeah, she had her royal memorabilia in that china cabinet.
So, how many items are in her record-breaking collection?
12,216 to this point, and I'm in the middle of verifying it for the Guinness World Records. And of course, it keeps growing because I keep getting more stuff. I don't want to know the value of it. I'm never going to sell anything, and I'm leaving it all to my 4 granddaughters, and they can either keep it in this museum, or they can throw it in the skip, or they can sell it all. I'm not bothered. It's the pleasure I get from it.
She had a cafe here, currently closed, where customers had to stand at 3 p.m. each day to sing the national anthem, and she actually made the news for throwing a few people out when they refused to do that.
So we put Anita Atkinson Royal in usually. Oh yeah, throws 3 out. That's the Huffington Post. I never even heard of the Huffington Post.
I've got that many that I have the most in the whole world. I've got a Guinness World Record.
With such an enormous collection, she can't fit it all in her house, so she keeps most of it in her very own museum.
It isn't just British memorabilia. It's because I'm a monarchist. It's not just this monarchy I support, it's every monarchy I support. I don't support absolute monarchies though.
For the record, the UK is a constitutional monarchy, so the Queen rules alongside an elected government. In an absolute monarchy, like Saudi Arabia for example, the reigning monarch has total control over state decisions. So what is it about a constitutional monarchy that Anita feels is so effective?
I believe the Queen protects us, because you've got another layer, you've got another tier of government. We vote for our MPs. Do we trust them? Not fully. The Queen watches over them. The Queen is higher than the parliamentarians, watching them, making sure they're doing their job to protect us. I cannot believe that she's done it for nearly 70 years and she's still doing it. Keeping calm and carrying on. I think they must have written that for her. You know the thing about a monarch, it doesn't matter which monarch it is, the incorruptible, because you can't corrupt them with promises of wealth because they don't need wealth. And you can't corrupt them with promises of prestige because you can't get a more prestigious position than being a monarch. So the incorruptible. And because of that, they're doing the job not for themselves, they're doing it for us. Especially in this day and age, it's a very difficult concept to get your head round, that someone would work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for other people. But that's exactly what she does, because when she wakes up in the morning, she's queen. And when she goes to bed on a night, she's queen. And she does that 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days of the year, and she's 95. It's absolutely incredible. Every day she has to sit at a desk and sign off these laws that are being made. A lot of people, all ages, think the Queen sits in a castle with her feet up and a crown on her head. It's just that, it's not about that. It isn't about that. It is the personification of a nation, the personification of more than one nation in the Queen's case.
As it stands today, the Queen is head of state in 15 countries. She appoints representatives called Governor-Generals to manage royal duties in the non-UK territories. Jamaica, though, is taking steps to become a republic, so that number will soon be 14. During Queen Elizabeth's reign, out of the 32 countries that had her as head of state at some point, 17 have become republics. In a sense, firing the Queen. But while some want to rid the country of an institution they view as old-fashioned, colonial and out of touch, one of the very reasons Anita is so fond of the monarchy is because the Queen has been around for so long.
I suppose I'm a royalist because of her. I'm a monarchist because of her, because she's all I've known for my whole life. And she's been such a fantastic example of what a monarch should be. I do not want to have a president. I find it very difficult to give me loyalty. How do you give loyalty to someone you don't know? I've practically seen Prince William born, and I've seen him every week since he's grown up, so I kind of know him. But if someone came in and we had a republic and we voted in a president, I don't know who he is, or who she is, or... No, I don't want that. I want someone I know and trust. And that's what it's all about. And I want that for my grandchildren's grandchildren.
So, do you have a feeling then that you really intimately know them?
We know the public face, and we're not meant to know the private face, because people know my public face. They don't know what I'm like at home. They haven't seen us when I'm swearing at my husband. You don't want to see that, do you? Things like that, do you? But as long as the public face is right, that's what we want. We've had people in the royal family that haven't been proper and haven't been suitable, but isn't that happening at all families, where you just wish, what's that saying, you can choose your friends? Yeah, you can't choose your family, and sometimes in all families there are black sheep.
Despite those black sheep, monarchists like Anita argue that one of the selling points of the royals is their ability to rally people together during some of the country's darkest periods.
We had this pandemic that no one had ever heard of. No one had ever experienced it. Everybody was frightened. And then our Prime Minister goes down with this illness and is on death's door. And who comes out? The Queen. There she is. The whole nation was watching the Queen, talking to us live on the television, saying that, don't worry, all will be well. And that's exactly what she did when she was a 13-year-old schoolgirl during the Second World War. You see what she did there, so powerful as a 13-year-old. And then she comes back out again as a 94-year-old. And you could feel the nation breathing a sigh of relief. That's the type of power that the Queen uses. It's just a power that she has over people that she uses to good.
Regardless of how I feel about the monarchy as an institution, I can understand why a lot of Brits are so attached to it. For some people, the Queen has been there, speaking to them through some of their toughest moments.
I think of London and Manchester, whose powerful identities shone through in the face of appalling attacks.
Although it's a time of great happiness and good cheer for many, Christmas can be hard for those who have lost loved ones. This year especially, I understand why. But life, of course, consists of final partings as well as first meetings.
Historical trends are not in monarchy's favour. and I'm sure that the discussion over abolishing ours will become a lot more serious in my lifetime. But no matter which side of that discussion you fall on, it's important to understand the other perspective. Anita is the most fanatical royalist I have ever and probably will ever meet. But many share her fondness for the royals. They're just a little more subtle about it. So, however much longer the monarchy lasts, it has shaped the idea of British identity for millions of people, for better or worse.